The Detroit Pistons tie a franchise record with their 21st consecutive loss. Man, let's chat about it.
Lane, sky's a jam. Dynamite dunk and the crowd loves it.
Welcome back to Pistons Intellect. I'm your host, Jack Kelly. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_Kelly_313. And if you're feeling so kind, please hit that subscribe button. Channel continues to grow. We're getting very close to 500 subscribers. So appreciate everyone that's joining in and following along this journey. Keeps me going. So if you're feeling kind, hit that like button and let's dive into it. So as I mentioned at the top, the Pistons tie a franchise record for most consecutive losses, with their 21st loss in a row coming at the hands of the Philadelphia 76ers on their home court as they fall 111-129 in a game where that score probably makes it seem closer than it really was. I don't know, man. I tweeted out after the game that basically it's just another one of those losses where there's the home crowd's booing the Pistons. There's next to no positives, really. And as we've come to realize and know throughout this season, we probably won't hear from the front office. Which I'm going to get to that in a second, because I've had some people asking me, Jack, what do you want the front office to say? And I get that question. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I think I just want to touch on the game a little bit. The Pistons' final scoreline is probably makes it look better than it was, as I said. So the Pistons were down by as many as 30 in the third quarter. To start this one off, Joel Embiid was the Pistons really had no bigs tonight without Jalen Duran. Even with Jalen Duran, Joel Embiid is a load to handle. And Isaiah Stewart's severely undersized. Embiid had 19 in the first quarter, 30 at the half. And honestly, if he had played enough minutes, I thought he was going to go for 60 at least. Like, he just, anytime he's around the basket, it's automatic 2 points. He's hitting threes, mid-ranges. Like, he's clearly a top 4 or 5 player in the world. He's an MVP. But, tonight was always going to be a loss. I think the disappointing thing is that just like Cade Cunningham, just could not hit a shot in the first quarter. He bounced back in the second quarter, and look, Pistons were kind of back in it, but yeah, it was always around that 10-point mark. They got it maybe under 10 once in the third quarter. They might have got back to 9, or maybe it was stuck on 10. Bojan Bogdanovic sort of kept them going throughout this game for the most part, apart from the second quarter where Cade sort of picked up his scoring, but Bojan finished with 33. I will say probably 9 of those were in garbage time. So he was sort of struggling to hit his threes. That's, I don't really see that as much of a positive that your 34-year-old veterans finishing with 30 points. And you kind of just expect him to hit those shots during game. 33 points is above his average. Clearly, he's not that kind of scorer night in, night out. But I'm not getting too excited about that. Kay, I know he bounced back in that second quarter, but there was a defensive effort in that third quarter between him and Killian where they just were clapping and at each other, and no one went to close out in the shooter. And can't remember who shot it, but they missed, and it came straight back to Tyrese Maxey, who then barreled in, put it back for 2. And I said it last video, I just want to see Cade come out aggressive on defense. And just once again, there was more lapses. And as I said, this is a group thing. Cade is not the only one not giving defensive effort. at times. But like I said, he doesn't get held accountable the same as other players. And that's starting to annoy me a little bit. As good as he is, I just, I don't know. I'm frustrated. So, like, I'm recording this a couple of hours after the Pistons lose. So, um, bear that in mind. I'm a little bit emotional, but yeah, there's so many things, man. Like, Stu gets tossed out in this one. I think it was in the third or the start of the fourth. For just, I mean, he was retaliating to a Pat Bev elbow, which was dirty in its own right. But Stu getting tossed out with the Pistons down like 20 after getting cooked by Joel all night is just, look, he pushed Beverly out of frustration, retaliation. I get it, but just one of those things that when you're down by this much and you're in the context of like that, like this, you're on the verge of 21 straight losses. Like, it's just, I get you being antagonized, but yeah, like, I just wasn't really impressed by it. And even when I saw back like the elbow from Pat Bev, like, I go, okay, that makes sense why he just pushed Pat Bev inadvertently, but still just like, I don't know, Stu, like, you're a leader, man. You're getting kicked out. Like, there's a whole thing going on with Draymond Green right now, who's another guy who's obviously famous for his sort of outbursts and just weird stuff he does on court. And while Stu's nowhere near on that level, he still has had his fair share of moments with flagrant fouls and fights and that kind of thing. And that stuff is okay. I don't like, and I'm not going to vouch for violence in the basketball court, but I like the grit and like the attitude, like, you're not going to push me around. But it doesn't hit as well when you're losing and you're getting killed. So I just, I know it was retaliation. I'm not gonna kill Stu for this, but just for me, it's just another one of those things where it's like this team is just bamboozled. Like, they can't stay in games. Tonight was, I mean, at least against the Pacers last game, and I said it, and lots of people said it, like, that's one of the worst defenses in the league. But at least there was positives. Oh, I called them bright spots last episode that we could talk about with Ivy and Asar and Cade to an extent. But tonight it was just another one of those games where you get done after watching it for 2.5, 3 hours. You might only watch a half, and you're just like, why did I watch that? I mean, Jaden Ivey, 21 minutes. Like, what is going on? Yes, he had not a very impactful first half, but you have to give him consistent minutes. Like, you need to give him a role. And like, what is the point in playing him 21 minutes? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, just because last game he was good and you reward him with 34 minutes, I don't think it's fair for, if he doesn't have the most impactful first half, to like, you know, only playing 21 minutes. Like, and the amount of times he was in the corner. And, you know, last time I mentioned, I love seeing him dart from the corner to the free throw line extended and receive a handoff and attack downhill. Barely saw that tonight. He had a little surge in the third quarter where he got a couple of buckets and the Pistons got to around 10. But then, yeah, it's if every player was held to the same measures as Jaden, in the sense of like, if you're not playing well, you come out. And if you're playing well, you're rewarded with minutes. I'm cool with that. It's in the context of like, this team's lost 20 games. But Jaden just continues to be held at a different standard. And I know Cade's the franchise, but I don't think he's proved that much more than Jaden. He's a better player, sure. He probably has the higher potential, sure. But I don't know. And this is where there must be something going on behind the scenes, because I don't get it anymore. And I'm tired of watching this guy be messed around. So I could rant forever on that. And I don't think I'm alone. And it's just at the point now where like, I just don't understand why he's not playing 28 minutes a game, at least. He is so clearly the only guy on this team who can get to the rim with any consistency and finish with any consistency and generate any consistent rim pressure to collapse defenses. It just makes no sense why he's not featured more. But I digress. I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be. What else even happened tonight? Like, I just don't know anymore. Asar was okay. We saw a bit of the screen and roll, wasn't effective as last game. And look, when Joel Embiid's patrolling in the paint, that's a lot different than some of the Pacers defenders he went at and finished over the top of, like Obi Toppin and Ben Mathurin and those guys. I don't think Asar really had to finish over Miles Turner in the last game. So maybe that's where this screen and roll thing might not be as effective when there is a big defensive minded or Jalen Beats, he's not considered one of the best consistent defenders in the league at the center position, but he's capable of being the best defensive big in the league when he's locked in. And he's just a huge guy. So maybe that screen and roll thing's not what we thought it was right now. Maybe it's something you just utilize against backup centers and when teams are going small. Yeah, I don't have much more, guys, in the game itself. I think talking about it for 6 minutes is more than enough. I'd be interested to hear your comments below. Were there any positives? I'm in a bit of a negative mood right now. But yeah, let me know if I've missed anything. Yeah, I think I'll just move on to what I would like to hear from the front office, because I am under no illusion that any front office and any PR team would ever send out a general manager in this situation and say, yep, we're making a big trade tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Like, I would never expect that. I understand how media works. I work for a professional basketball league. All I would like to hear is just some form of acknowledgement that that things aren't going to plan right now. Troy Weaver issued that letter out in April of this year, basically saying we want to be more competitive, we want to be in games, and essentially we'll be fighting. Our goal is to be competitive in every game for a full 82 game season, as well as he mentioned stuff about the prior summer having a great position cap space wise, and we're in another position, take another high lottery pick, but that stuff's in the past now. I would just want to hear an acknowledgement that yes, that things aren't going to plan right now, or come out and tell us this was part of the plan. But right now, this doesn't align with what we were told in the off season and what we are seeing. And I would be flabbergasted if this is part of the plan, regardless of Monte Morris being out or whatever. Like there is no player on this roster that's coming back, or when this roster is fully healthy, that would lead me to believe that this roster is going to work. I think, yes, the Orlando Magic last year were 5-20, but this feels nothing like the Orlando Magic. This team doesn't have an identity. They're not good offensively. They take most of their shots in the mid-range, poor from three-point range in terms of attempts. They're lower in the league. They don't get the free throw line. They turn the ball over. Offensively, they're a disaster. The spacing's poor. And then defensively, we had 3 good games. I haven't seen anything since. Miscues, teams full of young guys, so they're natural. But without Jalen Duran, the rebounding's dropped off. They give up threes. They give up how many free throws. And yes, you can blame the refs a little bit for that, but some of it's just poor fouling by young guys and guys who are out of position. So I don't know what this team's identity is. So I can't. I mean, at least with the Magic, you could see it a little bit last year. So I just want to hear from the front office an acknowledgement of, okay, this plan isn't working right now. This is what we're pivoting to. Or I would like to hear just give us something, a direction to, what's the plan now? So if this isn't the plan, if it's not going to plan right now, what is the plan for the rest of this season? We don't need in-depth, but are we going to shift to young guys? And obviously they won't say it in those words. They'll put it in a PR phrase that doesn't make it seem like tanking or whatever, but is it now time to build for the future? That will annoy the hell out of people, but at least I will know, and we will know as a fan base what to expect. Because right now it's just in absolute limbo. And I don't expect to hear from them, but I think something needs to be said. So I hope that kind of makes it a little bit clear. I honestly, even if it's just another letter, I'm cool. I won't be satisfied, but that's not going to make me feel any better about the season. But at least I'll be like, okay, I'll have something to read, something to grasp, and something to give me some form of direction and how I should approach watching this team. Because right now it's just like you turn it on, you know they're going to lose, and we tell ourselves this is the fourth season of a rebuild. We have our core four pieces, but nothing seems to be really coming from that right now. So, yeah, I think for me as well, just hearing from the front office would signify some form of leadership. Not hearing anything kind of just sends out the message that you're carrying away. And I like, or because the pressure is just building and building and building. Like, as I said, the Pistons have just tied the franchise record for losses consecutively. They are 5 losses away from tying the longest losing streak in NBA history in a single season of 26. They play Philly again on Friday night in Philly, a place I can't remember the last time they've won, and I can't remember the last time they've gotten close to winning there. It feels like it's only 20-point blowout every time there. So they are about to set a new franchise record for losing streak overall. Doesn't matter if it's single season, doesn't matter 2, 3. Like this is officially the worst Detroit Pistons team of all time come Friday, unless they miraculously win. And I think we should hear something, like just something, some direction, because it's, yeah, like tonight in the arena, like, there's videos of kids punching each other in the stands. Like the Pistons, and like that's going viral on Bleacher Report, TikTok, Instagram. Like the Pistons are like just the absolute biggest joke of a professional organization right now. And that's not my words. That's just the way they're portrayed on social media. So it's genuinely like a circus. And the longer this goes on, the longer we don't hear from anyone. I just can't fathom it. Cannot fathom it. It's insanity to me. This what we're sort of witnessing, especially after nights like this, which have pretty much become every second game within a losing streak. So like it's just we're playing these games seem meaningless. Like you just can't have that in the fourth year of rebuild. And the most scary thing to me, which I think is kind of what we're witnessing, the more we don't hear from anyone, is that no one has the answers. And the problem with no one having the answers is like what is the point of the past 4 years? Like what, like all that for nothing. That's the real dark thing about all this is like it appears and suddenly like Monty doesn't have the answers. Like I don't think this is him just trying to mesh with the roster. Like had the training camp. I know he's a new coach, but we're now past a quarter of the way into the season. You know, like I know the league is stacked with talent, but all it takes is one night to get hot from 3 to be able to win a game. The Pistons cannot even do that. So no, this is turning into a rant once again, but this is just one of those games where it's like, I don't even know what to talk about, to be honest, because on court, there's a mess. And yeah, there's only so many times I can continue to listen to Monty Williams post games, and I'm not saying he's not insightful. I'm just saying, like, the man, like, what can he say anymore before someone above him actually steps in and shows that there is some sort of leadership? Because the longer this goes on, the more I'm starting to believe that just there is no clear voice in this front office, and that might be why we're not hearing anything, because they don't even know what direction to go. So, yeah, I've somehow hit 20 minutes. So, appreciate anyone that stuck through and listened to this. I don't think I will be back to review the 76ers game on Friday night due to a family Christmas event, which I'll probably still try and watch the game before the event, but I won't be able to jump on a computer and record. So I'll probably be back for Saturday's game to review that one. And if somehow the Pistons do win on Friday night, maybe I'll sneak a video in. But until then, unfortunately, I have to say, go Pistons.